It begins not in a bank, not with an inheritance, nor with a stroke of luck, but in the dark, quiet silence of a person's mind, alone, with nothing but a question. Is this all there is for me? Throughout history, the journey from poverty to wealth has been painted as luck, genius, or privilege. But the truth is far more layered. What if the difference between those who stay where they are and those who rise isn't just money, education, or connections, but a path, a series of stages that nearly every self-made millionaire, empire builder, and legacy leaver unknowingly follows? This is the story of those stages, not a fantasy, not a promise, but a historical and psychological roadmap drawn from real lives, real revolutions, and real sacrifices that transforms nothing into something and something into everything. Stage 1 begins in crisis, the kind of moment where comfort is stripped away and illusions fall apart. Take the story of Andrew Carnegie, a poor immigrant child working in a cotton mill, walking miles to borrow books because his family could afford none. The world had offered him nothing. But inside that void, he found clarity, the realization that no one was coming to save him. This isn't rock bottom, it's the ignition switch. Because next comes hunger. Real hunger, not just for food or money, but for change. Hunger sharpens the senses. It turns average people into obsessed learners. Every biography of the self-made, from Oprah Winfrey to Elon Musk, has this in common. A period of intense, almost irrational consumption of knowledge. They read relentlessly, observed relentlessly, worked for free, practiced in silence. And while the world saw nothing changing, the fire beneath was building. Then the third stage, identity shift. Quietly, the person no longer sees themselves as poor, unlucky, or average. They begin to think like someone who will one day have wealth, even when their bank account says otherwise. This is the moment people around them start to roll their eyes. You're dreaming too big. Who do you think you are? And that's exactly when the fourth stage begins. Isolation. Not loneliness, isolation. A protective cocoon. It's the rejection of distractions, fake friendships, and shallow validation. It's when they trade nights out for nights in, when every moment is invested, not spent. Henry Ford, for example, was mocked and nearly bankrupted by skeptics. But in isolation, he developed what the world would one day call the assembly line. Stage 5 is where most people stop, because here lies failure. The kind that makes you question everything. Bankruptcy, betrayal, public humiliation. But history shows us something vital. Failure is not the opposite of wealth, it's a rite of passage. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. He started a company. It failed. Then another, and another. But he learned. Every setback is information. Those who push through arrive at stage 6, skill stacking. This is when things click. They're no longer just passionate or motivated. They're valuable. Not because of one talent, but because of the combination of many. Writing, selling, networking, building. Suddenly they can connect dots others can't even see. Stage 7, leverage. Wealth doesn't come from effort alone. It comes from amplifying it. From using tools, systems, people, and platforms that multiply the output. Think of J.K. Rowling. For years she wrote in secret, broke and unknown. But once her book was published, it wasn't just her words anymore. It was a publishing house, movie studios, translations, merchandise. Her effort became an empire. Now we enter stage 8, momentum. Everything starts to move faster. What once took months now takes days. Doors open. Emails get replies. People listen. It's tempting here to slow down to enjoy the rewards. But those who truly build generational wealth know this is where you accelerate, where you reinvest, where you stay obsessed. Stage 9, legacy thinking. This is when you no longer build for survival, but for impact, for future generations, for ideas that outlive you. Rockefeller didn't just want to be rich, he wanted to redefine medicine and education. He created institutions, systems, foundations, and whether you admire or condemn him, the echo of his wealth still shapes the world today. And finally, stage 10, freedom. But not the cliché version, not the yacht or the mansion. Freedom is waking up and choosing exactly how to spend your day. It's creating without pressure, giving without fear, living without asking. It's the silent, powerful reward of every hour sacrificed, every failure endured, and every doubt silenced. But here's the twist. This journey doesn't start with knowing how to get rich. It starts with knowing why, the purpose behind the pursuit, the reason you get back up. Because wealth built without meaning eventually becomes emptiness wrapped in gold. But wealth built from nothing, with purpose, with fire, with intention, that kind of wealth doesn't just change your life. It changes everything around you. And the path? It's been walked before. By rebels, underdogs, orphans, dreamers. People with less than you. People who are laughed at, underestimated and ignored. The only question is, will you walk it too? This is Veil of Fortune. And behind every great fortune is a journey most never see. Until now.